This news program is proudly brought to you by
Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits
and Now Biscuits.
Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese arrives in PNG. Investment Promotion Amendment Bill 2022 passed. And government stand firm to support local SME. Good evening, you're watching National EMTV News. I'm Grace Papiali. Thank you for joining us. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese arrived in Port Moresby's APEC terminal today to a large reception of delegates from the PNG Foreign Affairs Department and their Australian counterparts from the Australian Embassy. There to officially welcome the Australian Prime Minister was Deputy Prime Minister John Russell, Foreign Affairs Minister Justin Tichenko, and other delegates.
The APEC terminal was a hub of activity this morning as the PNG Defence Force and other security forces, along with PNG and Australian Foreign Affairs officials, went through their final phases in anticipation of the arrival of the Australian Prime Minister. One of the first to arrive was Deputy Prime Minister John Russell, along with Foreign Affairs Minister Justin Tichenko and Acting Governor for NCD, Dadi Toka Jr. At around 9:30 this morning, the Australian Prime Minister touched down aboard an Australian Royal Air Force GTR. Albanese stepping off the plane at 10 a.m. to be officially welcomed by a 19-gun salute, led by the Deputy Prime Minister John Russell, along with the Australian Ambassador to PNG, His Excellency John Phipps, were on hand to receive him as he disembarked. Following an inspection of the Guard of Honour, Prime Minister Albanese was whisked away to Government House. At Government House, Grand Chief Sir Bob Dudai, Governor-General of Papua New Guinea, officially welcomed the Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese, into the country. Speaking with the Governor-General, Prime Minister Albanese expressed his gratitude for the warm welcome reception he received on his arrival. He informed the Governor-General that his visit to PNG was to build on the existing close relations shared between Australia and PNG and to lay the groundwork for closer ties between the two countries. From the State House, the Australian Prime Minister's motorcade arrived here at the National Parliament at 11 a.m. Port Moresby has been the host venue for foreign dignitaries. 4 years ago, the former Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison visited the country to attend APEC. And of course, last year, the Chinese Foreign Affairs Minister was here in June. The difference with this visit by the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is his historic address on the floor of the National Parliament to our local national leaders. Inside Parliament House, Albanese delivered his historic speech focusing in on the bond between equals.
Our friendship is deeper than trade, and our partnership and cooperation and engagement should reach beyond it. Infrastructure is a long-standing policy passion of mine, and I'm proud that Australia is working with PNG to deliver an ambitious program of nation-building projects.
Upon completion of his speech, Prime Minister Albanese was whisked away to the APEC House for bilateral talks. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
A joint statement on commitment to sign a bilateral security treaty that will be finalized in April was top priority among other agendas in the dialogue between Prime Minister James Marape and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese at APEC House this afternoon. A reaffirmed enhanced strategic cooperation between both countries.
The Australian Prime Minister's visit comes at a time when China's influence in the Pacific region has been growing. Coming into PNG, a security treaty has been priority for both Australia and Papua New Guinea. Following an afternoon of high-level talks at the APEC House, both Prime Ministers held a joint statement to address the outcome of their dialogue, with a broad security treaty announced to be finalised by April, guided by both Ministers of Foreign Affairs.
Our security arrangement, one of the things we've spoken about is increased defence cooperation, including training of personnel. We've spoken about increased in terms of potential for joint operations as well. For other issues, one of the things that both of our governments have done recently is establish anti-corruption commissions, both in PNG and in Australia.
In the context of security, both leaders recognized the importance of effective law and order and a strong justice and police system in underpinning PNG's security and economic development.
My brother Prime Minister did indicate it's not just one narrow focus. It embraces all aspects of the entire government of the security matter, including climate change and others that he's indicated. For Papua New Guineans, for instance, we pitched a conversation on visa, and easy access to visa for Papuans who want to access Australia, but it depends on some of the security arrangements. You have to be a real person to travel into Australia. You must be known by the system here and system in Australia as well.
Both Prime Ministers are committed to continuing to work together on shared opportunities and challenges facing the Pacific family. The Australian Prime Minister and Prime Minister Marape also spoke on the issue of visas. Prime Minister Albanese touching a chord when he spoke of his vision for PNG Rugby League.
I'm pleased that Papua New Guineans will have the opportunity to move with their families to Australia under our new Pacific Engagement Visa. That was a clear commitment that we gave at the federal election, and that commitment is being delivered along with other commitments we made prior to my election in May of last year. We agreed to a reciprocal work and holiday visa arrangement from the 1st of July 2023.
Key discussions between both Prime Ministers will continue tomorrow when they head to Wewak, East Sepik Province, to pay tribute to the late Grand Chief Sir Michael Samare when they visit his final resting place. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, preparations are going well in Wewak, East Sepik Province, to receive the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and his delegation tomorrow. Prime Minister will be making a day trip to Wewak to visit the late Grand Chief Sir Michael Thomas Somare's resting place to lay a wreath, War Memorial Site, Boys Town and Moyem Barracks. All 16 wards in Wewak Eben started cleaning up on Monday. PNG Defence Force, 2R PIR personnel are also rehearsing to welcome Prime Minister Albanese delegation as well as providing security. An Investment Promotion Amendment Bill 2022 was passed in Parliament yesterday to support local SMEs and protect the Reserved Activities List, or RAL, for PNG citizens. It also provides a reform law to guide foreign investments coming into the country. This bill was presented by Prime Minister responsible for Commerce and Industry, Henry Amuli.
I present the Investment Promotion Amendment Bill 2022.
The bill is to amend the Investment Promotion Act 1992, reform law relating to foreign investment certification, and to facilitate promotion of micro, small and medium enterprises and for related purposes. Minister for Commerce and Industry Henry Amuli, on submitting the bill to Parliament, noted that the previous Foreign Investment Regulatory Authority, or FIRA bill, has resulted in foreign investors withdrawing their investments in the country. He said this bill presented is a balanced policy proposal put forward through Investment Promotion Authority to assist SMEs as well as providing foreign investors with confidence.
The FIRA bill went too far in restricting businesses' activities and was damaging PNG's reputation and attractive destination for foreign investors.
Some of the key changes involved in the bill included changing the foreign certification system to process applications quicker, automatically, and rejecting applications for reserved activity list to support SME, creating a registrar for foreign investors, and to review the RAL at least every 3 years.
This is good news for SMEs. Additional activities can be reserved for citizens' involvement with controls to prevent SMEs being hit with additional input cost from lower domestic competition. And we will have better enforcement. We'll target non-compliant foreign businesses.
The bill is supported by both the government and opposition. Prime Minister James Marape commended the minister, stating it is the first step towards supporting local business and investment in the country.
Mr. Speaker, as we took office, our focus was on taking back our country from wrong hands, and one major focus was in the space of business and SMEs. We placed in and we started a program. We gave commitment on how we would start to empower our people to be engaged in businesses, and this is a key focus area that differentiates our government from the past government.
Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
Deputy Opposition Leader Douglas Tomariesa has supported the Investment Promotion Amendment Bill 2022 that was passed in Parliament, stating that the bill is the way forward to support local SME in the country. He said the reserved activities list must be only for Papua New Guineans.
The opposition leader and member for Kiriwina Goodenough said the bill was well overdue as the people have been waiting for a government intervention. He said the reserved activities list must be reserved for only Papua New Guineans.
It's about time we bring it out, and I commend the minister, the Prime Minister, and the executive government in fast-tracking this bill through this House. SME is a very important sector for development of this nation. We all know that. Reserved businesses have to be reserved for Papua New Guineans. And not only reserved businesses, but employment for Papua New Guineans must be also reserved for Papua New Guineans.
The opposition leader also challenged Papua New Guineans to change their mindset in doing business in the country. He also called for a proper way to register and support business in the country.
Whilst this bill is an important bill, we must emphasize that Papua New Guineans who are running businesses must be registered, not individuals who are running SMEs who are unregistered.
There is about 39 reserved activities list reserved to only Papua New Guinean citizens to register and do business. The revised RAL came into effect in January 3rd, 2022, replacing the existing 32 activities. Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
The issue with power supply is an ongoing problem in the country for well over 2 decades. East Sepik Governor Alan Baird raised this issue in Parliament today, saying blackouts have become a normal part of people's lives in the country, and asked if the government has any plans to rectify this issue. Divinewood University journalism student Edson Kuso reports.
In a series of questions, Governor Baird asked the Minister for State-Owned Enterprises, William Duma, to explain to the people of the country what is affecting the performance of PNG Power and its capacity to supply electricity.
What is really the issue in terms of all these continuous blackouts? Is it the generation? Is it the transmission? Is it incompetent management? Is it a lack of capitalization? What is it? Please outline to the House and to the people of Papua New Guinea. The reason I ask the question is that in the provinces, the governors get blamed when there's no power. We get blamed when there's no water. We get blamed when even the police are not working. Things that are completely outside of our responsibility.
In response, Duma said there are a number of issues that are affecting the performance of PNG Power Limited, mainly incompetency in the staff and management.
I can only admit that there is a combination of factors that has led to the situation our company is in now. Firstly, dealing with the competency of the people who are employed in PNG Power. Secondly, dealing with the aging infrastructure we have. Thirdly, dealing with the lack of attention, appropriate attention by numerous governments over the years. More than 20 years.
Duma said the underlying issues have been identified and the government will now work to improve the performance and capacity of the state-owned entity.
We have identified the problems, and the next couple of months you will see greater improvements in PNG Power. We will slowly turn this company around such that before the end of the year, it will be a company that many of us will be proud of. All we need, Mr. Speaker, is time now that we have already identified all the problems. So I can confidently stand before all of us and say that we will be able to turn this power company around very soon. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Edson Kuso, National MTV News.
National MTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to National MTV News. Lady Emily Dadai has been announced as the ambassador for the PNG Kidney Foundation today at the Borneo Pacific Pharmaceutical Compound in Port Moresby. PNG Kidney Foundation was proud to announce the special role that Lady Emily Dadai has taken. Lady Emily Dadai, the spouse for the head of state for Papua New Guinea, was pleased to be the ambassador for PNG Kidney Foundation. She emphasized on the importance of being an advocate to the foundation, where the need to address cross-cutting issues relating to kidney and other chronic diseases in relation is of utmost importance.
I am especially delighted to lend my support to a cause that has been providing valuable service for kidney patients, especially kidney failure patients, to receive affordable hemodialysis treatment in the country.
Chairman for PNG Kidney Foundation, Sir Martin Poe, was pleased when making the announcement and highlighted the plans of the foundation.
Mission is to start a kidney medical center with qualified nephrologists to look after patients throughout the country. We have one doctor locally been trained in Malaysia, and we also try to engage more doctors. And at the last meeting, we decided to appoint Lady Emily as the ambassador to promote education and awareness of the kidney disease and prevention, and how to live on a healthy diet.
The Women's Microbank, or normally known as the Mama Bank, has launched a new loan product for its customers. Called the Solar Power Loan, the products will allow women in rural areas to obtain solar-powered products through the loan scheme to use for their homes or small business activities. Divine Word University journalism student Edson Kuso reports.
Being the only women's bank in the country and the entire Pacific, the Women's Microbank, or Mama Bank, has been focusing on providing affordable financial services and training to women in the country. The bank has now partnered with NGF, the country's distributor of Sun King solar products, to provide solar products to the bank's customers. Women's Microbank CEO Gunanidi Das says this loan package will assist women and mothers in rural areas who cannot afford solar products. They can apply and be given the solar products and pay later as loan repayments.
This product is called Solar Power Now. Is launched for the people of Sipik region now in the pilot stage, and then we'll take it to the other locations once we feel like this is going to be a successful product for us. Importantly, this product is actually going to support the informal and rural people where they don't have much money to buy any products. But importantly, that product is going to deliver the need of their services.
Mama Bank has 11 branches in 7 provinces around the country. The bank will hold a roadshow of the product in Isipik between the 16th to the 27th of January, beginning in Wewak and on to Kusambuk in Yangru Sausia, Maprik District, Wasaragawi, Drakikia and Ngoram District. Edson Kuso, National MTV News.
A group of young female entrepreneurs are keen in advancing their small to medium enterprise venture from when they have started to date. This emerging local business known as Zadzil Ripple is led by 19-year-old CEO Zima Naka. As globalization emerges in advanced marketing strategies, it is seen that the young generation are rising up to do side hustles while in school, work, or just from the comfort of their homes. This is no exception for Zadzil Ripple, a local SME based in Port Moresby that was first established in November 2022 and has done well in the local SME space. Headed by young CEO Zima Naka, who at that time was a first-year student at the Institute of Business Studies in Port Moresby. CEO Naka says being raised in a family of SME owners contributes to her knowledge on operating her business.
I always had a dream to be the youngest successful businesswoman in Papua New Guinea. So growing up, seeing a father figure who's an entrepreneur, it builds this sort of, this character in you where you just want to go out there and you want to help people, you want to be like him, you want to be someone who inspires others.
Naka further added that they want to set an example and be an inspiration to the younger generations in the country.
Everyone in my team are around like 19 to 20 years of age, and we want to inspire other people out there, especially younger people, to start something. If you have an idea, that idea can be something. You can make it happen if only you are committed, because if you aren't committed, there's no consistency. If there's no consistency, there's no commitment. So that's what we stand by.
Sales manager Nelly Seta gave an overview on what Zadzil Ripple does on a daily basis.
So far, we've been doing sales for corporate clients. We basically sell the items in their closing inventory out to customers. So our basic method of marketing and sales strategies, we do guard sales. We either write our proposals out to big clients that will be interested in the items that we sell.
Zadzil Ripple is an online shopping company that focuses on giving shoppers, consumers and customers an all-in-one online shopping access through their site and application. Over 20 small and medium-sized enterprises were launched today at the Gateway Hotel in Port Moresby. This was made possible by Pacific Fund Financial Services after rolling out a 30-day program.
These local SMEs gathered as early as 10 a.m. for the official launching of their businesses. The awarding of certificates came about after the completion of a month-long training run by the Pacific Fund Financial Services. Chief Executive Officer for Pacific Fund Financial Services, Desmond Yaninen, says the reason for creating such an opportunity is to ensure Papua New Guineans prosper in their small businesses.
50% of the population is under the age of 24. So you have, essentially 4 or 5 million young people here in Papua New Guinea, and we need to create opportunities for them. And when we talk about SME, many times people think that SME is funding. We need to provide funding. Yes, funding is one thing, but there's also this thing called the SME failure rate. There's a very, very high failure rate. There's about a 90% failure rate, meaning that 9 out of 10 SMEs will fail within the first 5 years. As a result of that, we've put together this program.
Yaninen further highlighted the 4 courses that the SMEs have undergone during this training.
They first do a course in financial literacy. They graduate from that, then they do a course in strategic business planning. After they finish from that, then they do a course in sales and marketing. After they finish from that, they do a course in bookkeeping. So these are the basic fundamentals that everyone needs in order to be able to run a business successfully. A lot of our entrepreneurs have ideas. They'd like to run a business, but then they don't know where to start.
He reiterated that all these SMEs have been given targets to meet at the end of every month to make sure they progress with their business. Samantha Solomon, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer for Pacific Fund Financial Services, Desmond Yaninen, says The financial firm is planning to create 1,000 local SMEs this year, which will help in creating a total of 4,000 jobs for locals. He says they are focusing on business prosperity and also on creating jobs for Papua New Guineans.
The statistic is that one SME will create 4 jobs. So over here today in this program we have 30. Not everyone is here today. Some of them are back in the provinces already running the businesses successfully. But if each of those 30 businesses, they employ 4 people, you're looking at from one batch here, we are creating 120 jobs. And this year, our target is to empower 1,000 small businesses. So therefore, out of that 1,000, we expect to create 4,000 jobs for Papua New Guineans. And when I say jobs, this is in the formal sector. We want all of these businesses, they must be registered with IPA, with IRC, they must be taxpayers, they must employ people, and those people will be paying tax, and not only paying tax, they should be contributing to superannuation as well.
And now we take a look at the Nest Fund market report. The Kina closed unchanged at $0.2840 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.2765 US dollars, 0.397 Australian dollars, 0.2495 euro, and 36.16 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York closed, gold is trading higher, coffee closed lower, cocoa closed higher, copper closed lower, palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading lower, copper closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading higher, the All Ordinaries is trading higher. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Patients from rural areas in Western Province are not getting proper medical treatment as health facilities have been facing shortages of basic medicines. A patient suffering from a severe malaria case is still struggling for his life after not being treated well at the Dahamo Aid Post in North Fly District. This is due to no anti-malarial at the Dahamo Aid Post.
It was confirmed with a health worker at Dahamo that there have been an increase in the number of patients seeking medical treatment, and there is shortage of medical drugs available to treat to the patients since October of last year. A week ago, a 10-year-old boy sustaining a snake bite was taken to the Dahamo Aid Post, but nothing could be done as there was no antivenom available to treat him. He was sent back to his home village. Patients from rural villages along the Strickland River, especially Tinahai, Gayabi, Omebi, Sesenabi, Komogato, and Tobi along borders between North Fly and Middle Fly districts have been walking through bush tracks and paddling in dugout canoes, crossing rivers to seek medical assistance at their next closest aid post. Church and government-run hospitals and health centers in North Fly district have been facing shortages of medicines. Hence, health workers are calling on people to take care of their own health to avoid getting sick. Despite these ongoing problems and geographical challenges faced in Western Province, health workers are continuing to provide clinical services where possible. The North Fly District Health Management Team, when contacted this week, said they are aware of this problem and will liaise with the Western Provincial Health Authority to fast-track the orders for medical supplies for their province. Jim John, National EMTV News, Kionga.
And moving to overseas news now, Australian Prime Minister is in the country for talks with Prime Minister James Marape, with plans to hammer out a defence treaty high on the agenda.
economic position is about, we've got high inflation right now, so it's above 6%, although it's falling to about 5% government projections for this year. Formal sector employment has fallen. In terms of political stability, after the troubled elections mid last year, there's been relative political stability in government continuity from the before the election to after the election, and this government is protected this year till February 2024 from a vote on no confidence. So we've relatively emerged unscathed from the COVID-19 pandemic, and with the high petroleum prices, government has had a lot of revenue to increase spending at least last year and look to be this year as well.
And is there any significant policy difference with this new government compared to the previous one?
There's been a lot of policy continuity, a lot of push for the Take Back PNG agenda from James Marape, and he's pushing to a lot of taking on a lot of equity shares, well, at least pushing to get a lot more equity shares in resource projects. He's also had a large agriculture policy, continuing freight subsidies to smallholder agriculture producers, and trying to push for more rehabilitation of PNG's road networks.
And so just going to that Take Back PNG perspective for us, what's that all about?
It's been primarily to the resource sector, and it's been for lease of resource projects that have expired and to be renewed. They've been renegotiating the previous deals for at least large equity shares.
Okay, and how much Australian aid goes into PNG now?
On average, it's been about $500 million Australian dollars, which translates to about 1.2, 1.3 billion kina every year. And last year, it's been about 650 million Australian dollars.
South Australians have been warned they could face the worst ever mosquito season on record because of floods.
Any more reasons to avoid mosquitoes? I've got a few more for you today because monitoring traps around the state have detected 5 times the usual amount of mosquitoes that are carrying viruses. So far this season, 38 people have fallen ill with mosquito-borne viruses. The majority of those have been Ross River, but there's also been Barmah Forest and Japanese encephalitis detected in those cases as well. All three are quite harmful. We have even seen deaths related to Japanese encephalitis last year. The large amounts of water around the riverland may be contributing to the large amounts of mosquitoes. Chief Health Officer Nicholas Spurrier said it's not just those in the riverland that need to be wary. People right across the state do need to be careful. She said she's advised people to wear long and loose-fitting clothing, as well as light coloured clothing as well, and to also wear repellent. So, Joe, 'tis the season to cover up.
Forces from Russia have found the body of one of 2 British aid workers reported missing in eastern Ukraine.
The situation in Solidar depends on who you ask. It's under control as of this morning, according to this Ukrainian commander. They will never break us, says his injured comrade. We are winning. But if you ask these two, Wagner are clearing the city, they say. Russian, yes, but not from the regular army. They're from a private military group called Wagner, a network of mercenaries who do a lot of Russia's fighting. Its boss, Yevgeny Prigozhin, has recently recruited convicts from Russian jails, and they've been spearheading the attack on Solidar, claiming to now be in full control. We chat to one Ukrainian soldier on the front to see if that's the case.
Don't believe Russian propaganda. It's not true. Bakhmut and Solidar have Ukrainian control.
Kyiv has described the battle for Solidar and Bakhmut as the bloodiest scenario yet.
And that's all we can say with real certainty. Small amounts of territory are being fiercely fought over, and the human cost is huge. But the Kremlin is less keen to acknowledge that, instead accusing Ukraine of exaggerating the situation to secure more military support, which is continuing to arrive.
On a visit to western Ukraine, Poland's President Duda is the latest to announce the supply of tanks. Volodymyr Zelensky wants more to follow suit. In Russia, there seems to be division. The Kremlin claims there is still fighting in Solidar, at odds with Wagner's take.
I understand that the situation in the new entities is difficult and hostilities continue in some territories. Peaceful life has not been restored everywhere and the safety of people has not been ensured.
Moscow is continuing to claim everything is going to plan in its quest to occupy the eastern Donbass region. You wonder what will be left, whether it succeeds or not.
National MTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sport. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The NCD Governors Cup tournament has been deferred indefinitely following a heavy downpour of rain yesterday evening, turning the Mosby South Stadium field into a massive battle, making it difficult for the games to take place today. Today's tournament, though, was supposed to feature top 6 teams in the running towards the grand final, but unfortunately, the tournament organizers said the tournament director made a call to cancel the tournament for an indefinite period. Confirmations as to when the quarterfinals will be played for the Governors' Cup will be made known sooner. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, during his speech on the floor of Parliament today, upon noting that the camaraderie between PNG and Australia has brought the two nations together in so many ways, one of which he highlighted that both Australia and PNG has in common is the love of rugby league. He encouraged that PNG and the Pacific should have an NRL team playing in the Australian NRL competition.
And it was great to see so many people getting off the Air Niugini flights in Brisbane to support the talent of the Kumals and the Orchids in the Prime Minister's 13 matches. And today I affirm my view that I want to see a PNG-based team, Pacific Islanders, competing in the National Rugby League competition. Whether it is rugby league or cricket with the Barras and the Lures, or the work being done here by the AFL, sport is such a genuine and powerful way of building strong and lasting ties between our peoples at a code and club and community and family level.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The Hohola off-season rugby league competition will play its round 10 matches this coming weekend. President Kambi Ingeman said Hohola off-season will play their Blues and Maroons tournament.
After playing its round 9 matches last weekend, this weekend will feature round 10 of the normal rounds. The tournament, featuring both the men's and women's competition, has few more rounds to go before the tournament ends. An event also taking place during the round 10 matches is the Hohola off-season Rugby League Blues and Maroons match between the two top teams in the competition. This match will be round 2 of the Blues and Maroons tournament, with the last round to be played just before the Hohola off-season Rugby League Grand Final takes place. Godwin Eki, Trukai Sports.
And moving to overseas sports in soccer, Australia has secured some crucial games ahead of the Australian Women's Soccer World Cup.
The last game will be in Newcastle, and the team with the most points will be pronounced the winner of the Cup of Nations at the end of that date. Tony Gustafsson, who's the coach of the Matildas, spoke to the Matildas a little while ago and said how important it was to have the crowd behind the team.
This tournament, it's about a rehearsal to the World Cup in every aspect, what we do on the field and in the stands, to see how we can unite and create that high-octane energy football that we want to create. So you're going to see an attacking-minded team as always, that press high, that attack in numbers, hopefully score more goals than the opponents, but we're not too concerned about them scoring, we want to score more. But in order to do that, it's being carried from the stands.
And that ends True Kai Sports. The Money Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
Now we take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. In the southern region, Port Moresby City, rain showers with thunderstorms and cloudy periods. Daru, rain showers and thunderstorms, then cloudy periods. Kerema, patchy rain and cloudy morning. Alatau, rain periods with possible thunderstorms. Popondetta, rain periods, then cloudy. In Momase region, Lay City, rain periods. Medang, partly cloudy with morning rain periods. Wewak, few showers and cloudy. Vanimo, cloudy with patchy rain periods. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, cloudy periods with patchy rain at times. Kagviang, patchy rain, then cloudy. Kokopo, Rabaul, few showers and cloudy periods. Kimbe, overnight rain showers and thunderstorms, then cloudy periods. Buka, few showers and partly cloudy morning. In the Highlands region, Mount Hagen City, rain periods with thunderstorms, then morning fog. Goroka and Kundiawa, rain periods, then morning fog. Mendi and Wabeg, rain showers and thunderstorms, then morning fog.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Thursday, the 12th of January 2023. From the entire news team, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.